Howdy, folks. It is yours truly back again with another epic of the Incredible Hulk. This one is Volume 21, not the Fall of the Pantheon, just Fall of the Pantheon. Fall of the Pantheon, Volume 21, covering 1994 to 1995, and still written by Peter David. Yes, he is still the main writer of this series. Hulk takes on Hela. The Pantheon goes to shit. This almost fell. A lot of shit goes down. Where to begin? First, I'm gonna just kick my feet up here. I want to talk about the very special issue 420. For those of you who don't know, that is the special AIDS issue where Jim Wilson, let me just adjust this. Jim Wilson, the sometime sidekick of Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk, contracted AIDS. And this took place, of course, in 1994 when the AIDS epidemic was a terrible thing, killing millions of people, gays, drug users, drug abusers, people who, there are a lot of ways to get AIDS, This was actually an interesting issue for many reasons, and it broaches a lot of things, a lot of misconceptions, such as AIDS only affects gay people, and which it doesn't. I hope you guys know that. And this issue 420 really does answer some, well, no questions are really asked, but it doesn't answer questions. Let me just back this up. It addresses a lot of issues that, for the time, a lot of people were very ignorant of. So I don't think, to my knowledge, Jim was gay, but he got AIDS. Maybe he was a drug user, heroin, and shared the wrong needle. I don't know. Maybe it was a blood transfusion. I don't know. It doesn't state it. And we don't really find out. I didn't find out how he got it, but he's dying of AIDS. And interestingly enough, it juxtaposes, Bruce is dealing with Jim dying of AIDS, while Betty is dealing with a dude on the phone who is also dying of AIDS. And he explicitly states he's not gay. He's a football player, and he doesn't know how he's going to tell his friends or his girlfriend. He also mentions, I don't know how to tell my girlfriend that I have AIDS. And he commits suicide. So we're now dealing in this one issue, suicide and AIDS, all in the Hulk's universe, in the Marvel universe. And it's a lot to take, especially when we just came from Rick and Marlowe's happy wedding, all that wonderful, happy, good stuff. And then Peter David decides to drop this really heavy, but very timely issue on our laps. I personally, guys, really enjoyed the heck out of the story. And I'm not afraid to tell you guys, or ashamed, I cried. By the end of that issue 420, I was in tears for a lot of reasons. I don't know anybody personally who died of AIDS. No clue. It's not something that's on my mind at all. But to read something like this that's real in our world, mixed with the Hulk, in the Marvel universe, and just the circumstances that the people were put in. Betty trying to help this guy who kills himself. I mean, I probably spoiled it, guys, but trust me, if you can get a hold of this, Volume 21, Fall of the Pantheon, by the way, that's what I'm talking about. Please read it, check it out, and enjoy it. We actually don't get to that story until like 3 issues in. Like there's the Tales to Astonish one-off. In the 90s, they did like a Tales of Suspense, Tales to Astonish, and Strange Tales. These prestige stories that were like 72 pages long. By the way, this one starts that for Tales to Astonish. It's just some crazy dude gets Loki's powers and runs amok. So then Hulk, Ant-Man, and Wasp, or Ant-Man, Hank Pym, and the Wasp, Janet, and Hulk have to fight this dude. I love the artwork by John Estes. I think that's his name, John Estes. Like, it's like similar to like Alex Ross's paintings in a way. I like that. Then you got the Incredible Hulk versus Venom. I love that. First time I've ever read that. Then we get 420. Yeah, very special issue. I highly recommend you guys read it and really take it into your heart when you do read it. And yeah, Jim dies. Jim dies of AIDS. Jim is, related to Sam Wilson, the Falcon, who's now the Captain America, which I'm not too thrilled about. And then we go on through a myriad of stories, the main one being the fall of the Pantheon. Agamemnon, they find Agamemnon because following the Trojan War, they find out that Agamemnon sold him down the road in his quest to attain immortality by promising his offspring to these aliens, the Trojans. So they're pissed off and they're tracking him down with the help of Delphi. They find him in Boston, in Fenway Park, and then they end up in Asgard. And they meet Thor, but it's not Thor. It's like some dude with a red beard. I guess they were really going for not the God of Thunder from Marvel Thor, but the Norwegian Scandinavian belief of Thor, if that makes sense. Interestingly enough, we get Hela, we get the Warriors 3. They appear as they do in Thor's book, but it's not blonde Thor, not Avengers Thor. So I don't know. Good story. They meet the Frost Giants, and the king is Singard. I think that's how his name is pronounced. And then they meet the Horfin. The Horfin's like this big giant frost wolf. And it eats Bruce and Agamemnon, and then they go down to Hell where they meet Hela. And then there was some weird thing between Agamemnon and Hela, which brought them back to life. And Betty's now decided to live with Bruce over at the Mount, so this is a whole big to-do. From 421 to 423, it's a 3-part myth conceptions storyline. Then we get the fall of Pantheon, 424, 425. That's the storyline where that it truly comes down. Like it all ends for the Pantheon. I won't spoil it, I promise, but do read it. Then 426 is the aftermath, the epilogue to it. Bruce goes crazy. Actually, so it's in reverse now. Instead of going from human Bruce Banner into the Hulk, it's now the Hulk turning into a savage Bruce Banner. So now if green, calm, smart Hulk gets angry, he becomes skinny, white, angry Bruce Banner, if that makes any sense. So a savage Bruce Banner as opposed to a savage Hulk. And then everything changes, like the direction. Everything is weird. Rick and Marlo, I guess, are no longer in the book because they got married. So now it's just Bruce and Betty. The Pantheon are gone, which I was kind of sad about because I really started liking these people. And Paris, I guess, took over whatever was left of the Pantheon. Everybody's like scattered now because the whole place got destroyed by these endless nights, these shadow creatures who apparently were Agamemnon's dead children. Then by 427, everything shifts now. The format of the comic book has changed. It's no longer white panels, it's all black panels. And really modern. Like by 94, 95, this is like 95. So now comic books in general, they switch to the glossy page as opposed to the newsprint pages from the 80s and the 90s. So now we have glossy pages, but even like the paneling is all different and everything's all cooler, more modern, if you will. But Bruce and Betty now move to Florida, Sunville, Florida, where now they're encountering, and this is actually where they deal with less supervillains and more with social issues. So right out the back, a child is abducted and murdered, and we see the killer throw the dead body in. Okay, it's not hard, it's not terrible, but it is, because shit like that happens in real life, in our life, in our world. So Hulk and Betty have to deal with that. Since they're the new people in town, they're immediately, suspicions already directed towards them. And Hulk has to find the dude. Turns out the killer's is friends with Man-Thing, Ted Salas. He, not Ted Salas, but Man-Thing itself. God, I'm spitting all over myself. Ugh, gross. And the guy abducts the kid. It's a whole thing. 427, 428 that's a two-parter. Then 429, 430 is a two-parter. I forget what it is off the top of my head. But they basically have to, Bruce and Betty have to keep their identity hidden. At one point, Bruce goes back up to New York and fights the Abomination. That's what it was. Right. Well, no, 431, 432 was that one where he goes back up to New York and deals with the Abomination. The Abomination apparently is not a good guy, but he's not a bad guy anymore. So they're dealing with this corrupt dude who the commissioner wants to flush out all the homeless people from underground. That way that they can do some drug running. And Bruce is like, sorry, Abomination. I know we made our peace, but I got to fight you. That was a weird storyline because there's like a guardian angel, like a literal guardian angel, an angel there. And then there's this annoying newscaster chick. And then Bruce fights Abomination. At one point they land in the Daily Bugle and Jameson's like, he's on the phone and he's like, what? There's a fight going on in my building. Then he looks out the window and he sees like another newscopter coming in. And he's like, stop hounding my news. I don't know. What was it? I should look it up because it wasn't funny. Okay, you know what? I'm saying too much. I'm spoiling it, but it's funny. It's a funny exchange between. It's one of those things that Peter David likes to break the fourth wall, or he just likes to make poke fun at the book itself. I love Peter David. Peter David's writing is just enormous, and now he's introducing real life topics and world issues, which I also like a lot. The abortion issue. I just almost forgot the abortion issue. I think that was also, I think that was 420. Oh yeah, 429, 430 was that one. Okay. So 429, so coming off AIDS and suicide and child abduction and murder, now we have abortion. And 429, 430, so this girl is pregnant and Betty takes her to an abortion clinic to get an abortion, but the girl gets shot because there's protesters and assholes in this world that are like that, have a problem with it. Girl dies. Turns out the daughter is, she's the daughter of Speed Freak, who apparently is a villain. I don't know Speed Freak. All I know is they spelled it Speed and then Freek, not EAK for whatever reason, but Speed Freak. And Hulk fights him, and that's it, the end. So abortion is another topic discussed. And then we have 433, 444, which is the Over the Edge storyline where Punisher kills Nick Fury. There's a before and then the after. And then 435 is a double-sized issue where the Hulk plays baseball against the Rhino. So he's back down in Florida, and yeah, the Hulk plays for one team and Rhino plays for the other, and the owners of both teams are brothers. And it's funny, the descriptions are told like in rhyme, like not a fairy tale, but like a poem or like a rhyming poem. And it was actually pretty, for a double sized, it went by pretty quick, like very fast. Yeah. And that's pretty much it, guys. That's 420 to 435. Then we get, what else? Oh yeah. Incredible Hulk versus Venom. I almost said Wolverine. That was actually Wolverine and Hulk fought in 340, and Venom and Wolverine fought in Tooth and Claw. And and Tales to Astonish, number 1, or it's a one shot. So, and that's pretty much it, guys. That was 18 issues. Started the book yesterday, finished it today. So I am now down to 2 more to go, guys. Let me show you the next one. The second to the last book will be, boom, volume 22, Ghosts of the Future. We had Ghosts of the Past, which is volume 19. This is Ghosts of the Future. Ghosts versus Ghost of the Past versus of the Future. So a little confusing. Ghosts of the Past, Ghosts of the Future, volume 19, volume 22. But yeah, 95 to 96. We have, let me see, 436 to 448. We have the Savage Hulk one-shot. We have the Cutting Edge one-shot. And we also have, what is this one? Onslaught, the Marvel Universe. So yeah, I don't have my glasses. Here they are over here. That's pretty much it. Yes, Marvel, Onslaught, Marvel Universe, which is the issue where Fantastic Four and the Avengers get killed by Onslaught and everybody mourns. So we're already up to the Onslaught-ish. It feels like just yesterday. It was actually like 3 weeks ago, where I was reading 60s Hulk. It was like 60s Hulk, and 70s and 80s and 90s, and now we're in the 90s. Yeah, so 60s to the 90s. So that's pretty much it, guys. This and that should be done maybe within 4 days with Hulk, and then we'll move on to something else. I think I'll move on to Venom. I don't know. That's it, guys. All right, so let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you've read volume 21. If you have or haven't, it's all good. I'm sure you guys will find it in your comic book stores. That's Fall of the Pantheon. Awesome stuff. Be sure to read be sure to read issue 420, volume 21, and all other volumes and epics, Hulk related or not. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.